Hello everyone, it's Rider here and welcome to another video. Borders did a video kind of like this where he listed his best, I think it was his top 5 from the War for Cybertron Trilogy, and I thought I'd put my little flavour on it and not do a top 5 as such, but look at the best figures from each class in my opinion. So we've got all the way up to Titan and the smallest core, mini-cons, cassettes, whatever, Battle Masters, whatever it might be in each scale. Let's start off and have a look at, let's start off with the smallest first. So these are there was Micromasters, there was Battle Masters, there was ramps, there was core class, the smallest price point of figure. And in my opinion, there is two, and they're both cassettes. Little Rat Bat here, and this version of Laserbeak that looked like from the Arrival from Cybertron cartoon. If I was going to be made to pick one, I would probably go with Ratbat because I absolutely love this figure. And there is a bit of irony here because these two are probably the best minifigures that we got in my opinion, but they were packaged with the worst minifigures that we got as well. So Laserbeak came with that terrible Ravage and Ratbat here came with Frenzy or Rumble, which isn't a good mould. But in my opinion, Ratbat and Laserbeak here, probably Ratbat, is the best smaller figure that we got from that entire line. So Deluxe now, and this was a bit of a problem because I spent ages trying to think about what the best Deluxe that was released, because there's been some pretty good ones. And if I was to go on the sheer volume of a mould that I've bought, then actually there'd be a three-way tie. In the Sideswipe mould, the Ironhide mould, and the Datsun mould. Well, I've actually bought 5 versions of each of those figures. Different characters, of course, because you've got obviously Sideswipe and Red Alert, you've got Ironhide and Ratchet, and some of them have been slightly retooled. But that's how it would work. I've bought 5 lots of those and actually own 4 of the Ironhides still, 4 of the Datsuns, and 3 of the Sideswipe moulds. But I haven't gone for any of those. I've gone for Spinster. 2 reasons. Number 1, how did we get a Spinster figure? How are we getting these figures? I wasn't expecting to ever see another Spinster figure, maybe outside of an exclusive. And number 2, it's that good. It's unbelievable. The leg transformation is amazing. This thing is big and tall compared to another Deluxe. I mean, here's Ironhide here, who came close to getting in there. And you can see these are 2 big Deluxes and he's taller than him. This is tight, the QC on it's great. It's a stunning figure. I absolutely love Spinster. And there's only been 2 versions of this mould released, I believe. This one and Rotorstorm, and I know Rotorstorm is up there. But, yeah, Spinster has to take it because not only is he a figure character that I was shocked that we would get, but it didn't deserve to be this good. This is almost Voyager scale and level of transformation. It's great. Stunning, love it, great figure. So let's go on to the Voyager scale of figures, shall we? And again, if I was to go on the amount of figures I have bought from a certain mould, the Seeker mould would take this because I had 8 Seekers in my collection and all of them are still in my collection. That is the Earthrise Seeker mould, by the way. In second place would have been the Siege Seeker mould because I've got 5 of those in my collection. But again, I've gone for neither. I had to go for Cyclonus here. The more I've I suppose owned this figure, I've had him for over 12 months now. I picked him up in 2020. The more I do see some slight flaws in him. I do not think he I suppose aesthetically matches so well with the Scourge from Studio Series 86. The face sculpt is slightly off. If I'm being picky, his gun is slightly too big, in my opinion, and the purple is slightly off. But those are nitpicks for probably one of the greatest Transformers we have had at Voyager scale. It is a stunning figure. I absolutely love it. The transformation's great. There's some wizardry that goes on. There's very little kibble on him. And he's the best. He is the best. We've had some really good Voyagers. Grapple was amazing. So was Inferno. You've got what other ones? We've had the Seeker mould, we've had the Siege Megatron mould, we've had all of those, but I think Cyclonus here is probably the best. Now before we go on to the leader, I want to call out a Sublime. There was a Netflix Sublime as well, and they gave us some pretty exclusive retools of figures that I think need a mention here. And at Deluxe scale, I'd say the best from that line was Bumblebee. We didn't get this Volkswagen mould anywhere else, and it's a beautiful version of Bumblebee. This is my version of Bumblebee on my G1 chunk shelf. It's great. Yes, the colour is slightly off against the animation, but it's great. Stunning figure. And I think the best Voyager, because we have Voyagers in there as well, was Soundwave. Soundwave here. I mean, the Siege version was great, but it didn't actually transform into anything coherent, in my opinion. This, to change it to a cassette player with a couple of cassettes, to have I suppose, Earth version of Laserbeak, and that terrible Ravage with him as well. But I think, in my opinion, the Netflix Sublime was a really, really good line in its own right. And these two probably were the best at each scale that we released in that line. So there's going to be no surprises with Leader. I have gone for Earthrise Optimus Prime. This figure is probably the best Optimus Prime we've ever got. Yes, the Siege one was great, but this one topped it for me. It's a stunning figure. I've got the add-on kit, the Centurion drone stuff that came in that battle pack. So he's got the bigger rifle and, of course, his Energon axe. But this thing is the best Optimus Prime, in my opinion, we've ever had in the main line. Articulation-wise, is stunning. And it looks like how Optimus Prime should. I'm shocked we haven't had this slightly retooled to make him more like he did in the movie. But we did have the deceased version of Optimus Prime as well as an exclusive. And if we were to just look at the sheer amount of moulds I would have bought at Leader scale, it'd actually be a three-way tie here between the Galvatron mould, the Optimus Prime mould, and finally the Ultra Magnus mould, because I've got two Ultra Magnuses, the Siege one and the Kingdom one, two Primes, the Alternative Universe one and this one, and I've got the reformatted Galvatron and the standard Galvatron. Now that might change because I do want the toy version of Galvatron, but nevertheless I think this figure is the best Leader we have had in the War for Cybertron trilogy. So as we get bigger, we get less and less to choose from, and for me, the Commander class was a bit of a tough one. We've got three Commander class figures. We have got Skyfire or Jetfire, we have got Skylynx, and we have got Rodimus Prime. You suppose you could throw in the Shatterglass version of Skyfire in there, or Jetfire, but I'm not going to bother with that one. I think it's between the three moulds. And in my opinion, yeah, Skylynx is the best. Why Skylynx? Well, number one, I haven't really got an association to Jetfire. I think that Rodimus Prime is a good figure, but it's a Voyager, a leader at push, not a Commander class figure. And I honestly thought our chance of getting a decent Skylynx had passed with Combiner Wars Power of the Primes. Skylynx that we got, the smaller one, I never thought we would get a Skylynx like this, and Skylynx was one of the figures that I always chased as a kid, as a G1 fan, and I never got until an adult. And this, to me, feels like how I wanted that G1 toy to feel. It's amazing. I love this figure. I love the Skylynx character, and I know a lot of people hate him, but I absolutely love him. And I think this is probably one of the best figures in the entire line. Lovely figure. And definitely, in my opinion, the best Commander class. Finally, Titan. So we had three to choose from, didn't we, in this line? So we had Omega Supreme, we had the Ark, we had Scorponok, and you could throw Black Zarak in there as well, I suppose, but he hasn't really hit these in Legacy packaging. But let's go for the three. Let's go for the Ark, let's go for Omega Supreme, and let's go for Scorponok. And it was tight between two, to be honest. The Ark wasn't in the competition. I think it is between Scorponok and Omega Supreme, but I've gone for Omega Supreme. I just think it is the better figure. Scorponok is so stunning, but Omega for me it just feels so chunky and so well built, so stable. I absolutely love him. He's got a lot of gimmicks packed in him. He's amazing, and the fact that he has to, I suppose, he's modular. He has to come apart and be put back together. Makes me enjoy him more because he's actually so stable. You wouldn't believe he had to come apart. It's great engineering, and I absolutely love Omega Supreme. So he is definitely, in my opinion, the best Titan. I need to throw a massive caveat in as well in all of this, because I'm giving you the best figures from a line that hasn't quite finished yet. We've got Blaster and we've got Slammer and Pipes on the way. Now, I think that Blaster could give old Cyclonus here a run for his money, but essentially he's going to be a legacy release anyway, isn't he? He's from the legacy line, he's just been released a little bit earlier because of how, I suppose, how distribution's been screwed up, and normally we would get the new line in January, whereas now we're waiting to July time. So I'm going to stick by this list. In my opinion, the War for Cybertron trilogy has been the best since I've been an adult, mainline since I've been an adult collector. It epitomises the G1 aesthetic that I like, with throwing some new stuff in there as well. So that's it from me. Let me know what you think your best figures are at each size class. Until next time, I've been Zort Rider, and I'll catch you again really soon.